Welcome to Legs Like Mine, the podcast, where we explore lipedema through the eyes of a patient, break down the latest research, and share real life stories of living with this often misunderstood condition. I'm Susan O'Hara from legslikemine.com. I'm a lipedema patient, author, and advocate, and I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're newly diagnosed or deep into your journey, this podcast is for you. Hey friends, welcome back to Legs Like Mine, the podcast dedicated to supporting and empowering our incredible community, navigating the journey with lipedema. I'm your host, Susan O'Hara, and today we're sharing some really exciting news that brings a wave of hope and a deeper understanding to what we all experience every single day. We're going to talk about a recent, important, and a real research study that's truly shifting how we understand lipedema. We all know the story, don't we? The frustrating misdiagnoses, the dismissal of pain, the struggle to explain what lipedema really is. For too long, lipedema has been a mystery, often mistaken for just weight gain or lymphedema. But a new paper published this month in the journal called Metabolism by a dedicated team of researchers, including Leon G. Straub, Jan Bernd Funk, Dr. Karen L. Herbst, Philip E. Shearer, are giving us much more clarity. The study has a really complicated name, but don't let that freak you out. We're going to dig in it together. It's titled Defining Lipedema's Molecular Hallmarks by Multi-omics Approach for Disease Prediction in Women. It's not just dry science. This is about us, about finally getting answers and paving the way for real change in the form of treatment. So, what exactly did they do, and why is this research such a big, massive, huge, tremendous deal? Think of it this way. Instead of just looking at our symptoms from the outside, this team of amazing researchers went deep, right down to the building blocks of our bodies. They used what's called a multi-omics approach. For those of us, including me, who aren't scientists, imagine trying to understand a really complicated recipe. Transcriptomics. This is like reading all the instruction manuals, called our genes, that our fat cells are actively using. What messages are our genes sending? Proteomics. This is like seeing which chefs, which are our proteins, are actually working in the kitchen, carrying out those instructions. Which one of these are active or inactive? Metabolomics and lipidomics. These are like analyzing all the ingredients and the leftovers, the metabolites and fats in our bloodstream. What are our bodies consuming and producing? By putting all these pieces together, the genetic instructions, the active workers, and the metabolic activity, they created a much clearer picture of what's happening at a molecular level in our lipedema fat. And the discoveries they made are really, truly important to understand, and they're challenging some things that people had thought or hypothesized before. First, this team of researchers found something called adipokine dysregulation. Adipokines are like little messengers released by our fat cells. They influence everything from inflammation to how our bodies handle energy. The study showed that in women with early stage lipedema, these messengers weren't communicating properly with our BMI or body mass index. Specifically, two adipokines, adiponectin and leptin, weren't behaving as they should. Adiponectin normally helps reduce inflammation and improves how our bodies use insulin, while leptin helps regulate energy and can sometimes promote inflammation, which we're all really familiar with. The fact that their normal balance was off, even in early stages of lipedema, strongly suggests that our fat cells themselves are key players in the lipedema journey right from the very beginning. What? Now, this next finding might truly surprise many of us because it goes against what we've often been told. The researchers looked directly at our lipedema fat tissue and found a decrease in factors involved in inflammation. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Reduced inflammation right there in the actual fat tissue. This is a big change in how we understand this, and it suggests perhaps inflammation isn't the primary cause of lipedema itself, but rather immune cell infiltration might happen if lymphedema develops alongside lipedema. This is a critical distinction that could change how we approach treatment moving forward. At the same time, the researchers saw an increase in factors related to cellular respiration, energy production, and how our mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of our cells, are organized. It's like our fat cells are in overdrive, working much harder to produce energy. Well, what about inflammation throughout the entire body? The study looked at various inflammatory markers in the blood of non menopausal women and found very little change systemically. There was a slight trend towards increased VEGF, which is a factor involved in blood vessel formation, which could point to tissues with blood vessels. But overall, the widespread inflammation often seen in general obesity was not present. This is such an important validation for all of us who know that lipedema is distinct from just being overweight. Another fascinating discovery came from looking at our blood, the metabolomics and lipidomics analysis. They found altered levels of circulating glutamic acid, glutathione, and sphingolipids. Glutamic acid is vital for healthy immune cell function and for producing glutathione, which is a powerful antioxidant. The decreased glutamic acid levels could actually link the metabolic changes in our bodies to that reduced inflammation they saw in the fat tissue. And the changes in sphingolipids, especially increased ceramide levels, are also significant. Ceramides are signaling molecules that have been linked to negative health outcomes. The researchers hypothesized that even though adiponectin levels, which normally help lower ceramides, might be higher in lipedema, and ceramides might be produced so rapidly that our bodies just can't keep up, leading to a compensatory increase in adiponectin. This paints a picture of a broader imbalance in our metabolic and inflammatory processes. Now, for something that offers immense practical hope, disease prediction. The team did the coolest thing using artificial intelligence and machine learning. They developed models to accurately predict lipedema using simple serum factor measurements, basically blood tests. This is a tremendous and huge step forward because, as we all know, there is right now no single diagnostic test for lipedema, and diagnosis often relies on subjective symptoms like our pain levels, which can be inconsistent. They tested three different machine learning approaches for these prediction models, and the support vector machine model stood out, correctly identifying lipedema patients with an 81% recall rate and an overall accuracy of 80%. While these models are a powerful first step and need further validation with more patient data from different centers, they offer incredible potential for earlier, more consistent, and more accurate diagnosis for our community. Imagine a future where diagnosis is clearer and our journey begins with understanding, not confusion. So, honestly, I know this is a lot. It's very technical, it's very scientific, even though what I'm telling you is way, way, way toned down for a podcast. But what does it mean for the lipedema community? It means hope for new treatments. By understanding these specific molecular changes, this study opens doors for new treatment strategies. We're talking about potentially developing new medications or even targeted nutritional approaches that address the core imbalances in our bodies. The idea of investigating glutamine supplementation is particularly intriguing. Faster, more accurate diagnosis is another thing that it could mean for the lipedema community. Imagine a world where a blood test could help confirm lipedema. These prediction models are a huge leap towards more objective and timely diagnoses, which means earlier intervention and better management of our symptoms. It also means validating our experiences and changing what we thought. The finding of decreased local inflammation is so validating. It means that the inflammation often associated with general obesity isn't necessarily what's driving our condition after all. This is crucial for guiding future research and ensuring that therapies are truly tailored to lipedema, not just general weight conditions. The role of hormones. The study also highlighted the important role of menopausal status and potentially sex hormones like estrogen in shaping lipedema. This is a vital area for future research, aligning with many of our lived experiences and observations within the community. This research is more than just a scientific jargon. It is a source of finally hope for lipedema patients. It's about moving beyond assumptions and getting to the heart of what makes lipedema unique. It's about providing solid scientific backing for our experiences and opening up exciting new possibilities for truly effective treatments and clearer diagnoses. This study is a powerful step forward, driven by dedicated researchers, and it's all for us in the lipedema family. Let's carry this hope with us. And while most of us don't understand the science that we just talked about, thank goodness for people who are researchers like Dr. Herbst. Thank you for joining me today on Legs Like Mine, the podcast. Keep sharing your stories, keep advocating, and remember, you are not alone on this journey. There are people fighting for you every single day. If this episode spoke to you, or if you've ever felt unheard on your lipedema journey, please know this: you are not alone. We're in this together, and we're not stopping here. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening. I'm Susan O'Hara from legslikemine.com. Be kind to yourself and keep going.